it's Tanya D, and I'm here to do another story time. Last couple of ones have been a really big hit, and so I get asked questions a lot about certain things, my illness being one, and I'll just briefly explain it, but then I get messages from my platforms, like social media platforms, like really into detail, and they private message me, I don't mean to be rude, and you know, what about my sickness? So I get enough questions that I said, okay, I'm going to do a story time on this. If you look back when I really committed myself to YouTube, you'll see that I was actually in the hospital. I did videos here and there, didn't really care about my, really just did it for the free stuff. And when I really invested into my YouTube channel, I had an IV coming out of my neck. I was talking like this and couldn't swallow. It was just awful video. I don't know what I was thinking. But anyway, so since then I'm always getting asked questions, and when people see me in Snap, sometimes they do see that I'm in the hospital. So let's start from the beginning. When I was pregnant with my son, I was like really sick, and he's 10 now, so this is 10, almost 11 years ago. But I was really sick during my pregnancy, and I noticed I had gallstones, which is fine, but they wanted to wait to after I had my son, of course, to have the surgery. So I had the surgery, everything went great, as according to plan, all that good stuff. Well, I noticed a year later, I would always feel this intense pain right under my right side boob, and it would go towards my back. And the pain was so excruciating, it was bad, I couldn't breathe, I would get pale white, they said, my lips would turn blue, it was just dreadful. As another year went by, I was in the worst pain ever, and it was happening more frequently. I was in the bathroom once and I passed out because the pain was so bad. So I was rushed to the emergency room. They hydrated me, they did all that good stuff. Couldn't find anything at all. So I went back to my doctor. My doctor said, well, it could be depression. And as a teen, I had it hard. So I know what depression is. I know what full-blown depression to where you have no hope. I know what that is. I know what it feels like. And I wasn't depressed. I loved life. I wanted to go forward. The only thing that bothered me was this pain. I didn't think life was bad or sad, and I always knew things would get better, so I didn't know why he was saying I was depressed. So I said, that's not it. Even my husband was like, really? She's like the most positive person ever. So he put a claim into my insurance that I refused to see someone about my depression. And my insurance refused to pay anything until I saw a doctor for depression. So I saw a specialist for depression, and he really didn't listen to me or what I had to say. Right away, he wanted to give me these pills. One of them was an antipsychotic, and another was a really high dose of depression pills. And I didn't want medication. I wanted answers to this pain because I knew it was not depression. I knew something was wrong with myself. I knew it. So anyway, the pain continued. I didn't want to take the pills. My insurance didn't want to no longer see us at all. So for anything, it was just a lot of stress. We dropped that insurance. My husband quit where his job was to go to another place that had a different kind of insurance, and it takes you a while to build up to get that. So it was going to take him at least 6 months to get the full coverage insurance we needed. And that wasn't enough. He saw me every night hugging that toilet, throwing up, in pain, shaking so bad. And he says, I can't do it. I can't see this anymore. I can't see you this way anymore. I just can't. I love you, and I have to do what I have to do. And I was like, what are you talking about? What do you mean? And he was like, I'm going to join the army. I have to join the military. They have better insurance. And kids, no, this is crazy. We can't do this. And he's like, my mind's made up. I'm gonna do this. I need to do this. I can't watch this anymore. So he joined the Army. Shortly after basic, from Texas to Washington. I made an appointment right away. The doctor saw me in 2 weeks, sent me to another specialist within a week. I explained to the specialist about my gallbladder surgery, and he said, have you ever gotten an MRCP? Now, if you're having stomach pain, people just ask the doctor if they can give you this. This is even a more detailed than an MRI. It like gets into every little tiny tube and fold and everything. So I was like, no. And he goes, I bet you have stones in your bile duct. And I was like, okay, well, I don't know what that means. And so 2 days later, had an MRCP. 3 days after that, went back to the doctor's office, and he says, listen, you are really sick. You have obstruction in your pancreas. There are stones. There are a lot of stones in your pancreas, which is causing a blockage. And you're swollen. Your pancreas is extremely swollen, the tubes, all that. So a week after that, so let's say maybe 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we were there for about a month or two. I had to have surgery. They said it's going to be an easy procedure. You go in 30 minutes. I've had easy procedures before. You're gonna go in, get flush the stones out, then you'll be home. I remember going in, I woke up, I remember just not really hearing him because I was in so much pain. I don't remember anything else. I remember my cousin coming in to check up on me, and I said no. She asked me if I was all right, and I said no. I drank some juice, threw it up right away. They checked my heart rate, and at that time my heart was at 157. It was going when I was just there. My blood pressure went like sky high, and so she was concerned. So I went, they admitted me for observation. The test results showed that I had pancreatitis, that my pancreas had turned on me because it wasn't used to working so easily. Usually it just, it would just like struggle, and then all of a sudden it didn't need to. So my pancreas went out of whack, went crazy, and yeah, so I don't remember too much because the pain was so bad and they needed me to be calm, because at sleeping my heart rate was at 188, and I just remember I can feel my chest pounding. I could feel pain. I couldn't breathe. I was on oxygen feeding tube. I was on a pain pump, a regular IV. I was on a heart monitor. They had the shockers, the defibrillators right there beside me. And my husband happened to go to training during this to New Orleans, and I was in Washington, and Red Cross had to fly him to me, an emergency flight, because they thought my heart was going to stop. They told him that that's how serious it was. I don't remember too much because I was so drugged up, but I remember my kids coming. They looked really upset. I didn't know what was going on. It had been 2 weeks. Didn't even know it was 2 weeks. My husband was there, and I was like, oh, so you're finished with training? What? Like, I was so confused. Friends came, they saw me, they started crying. My brother, who I haven't talked to, or normally didn't talk to, called me crying and telling me to be strong, and I had no idea what was going on. So when my doctor came, I told him to stop all the medication. I said, stop. I don't know what's going on. I don't understand what's wrong with me. And so they said, if we stop it, you're going to be in a tremendous amount of pain. And I was like, I don't care. I need to comprehend what's going on with me. So they did, and they explained to me what had happened and my heart rate and all that stuff. So I was in ICU for 6 weeks. I remember it was so intense that the pain was so bad. It was like nothing you'd ever want to feel. And it's like, at that moment, it's so easy, like, just to want to give up. Like, I don't want to cry, I don't want, But I remember the thing that did get me going was my husband and my kids, because the pain was so bad. You're like, God, if this is supposed to kill me, just take me. Why are you letting me suffer? Just do this, take me already. Finally, it started getting eased up, so they moved me upstairs. I had gone home finally, and I'm the type of person that has to go. I get up and go. I need to stop, but I can't. My mind is always like this all the time. And then if you follow my snaps, you'll see I'm talking about one thing, then all of a sudden something else enters, so I kind of talk about that, but then I go back to another thing. Anyway, so I waited a couple of days, then went to the mall shopping with my kids. Then I started feeling really sick again, feeling the pain. Went back home. I had 102 temperature when they checked it. By the time I was at the hospital, it was 104. My pancreas inflamed again. Yeah, so I was in the hospital again for another 2 weeks. So I've been struggling with this for about 6-7 years, all the time. Last year, a year and a half ago, 2 years, can't remember, I had another major attack. I have little attacks which send me into the hospital, but this was a major full-blown attack where they had to cut some of my pancreas because the swelling was so bad. I don't remember them telling me that after surgery. I don't remember really much anything of that 2 weeks either. They were talking of putting me in a long-term facility, like a nursing place, because the pain was so bad. But I was like determined this is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I want to go home. Just let me go home and I'll be better. I'll just heal. I just can't heal here. I hate it here. I was in there for 3 weeks, and yeah, so I go in every now and then to get checkup to make sure that everything in my pancreas is fine. I go and get injections in my pancreas to kind of help me to make sure that the pain is as low as it could be. It's a block that they give me, so the pain cuts down. So I don't know if you guys are used to running or if you ran as a kid or something and you feel this like kink pain in your side. Well, that is constant for me. I feel that all the time. It never goes away. And it's not until where I get really nauseous and it gets to like above a 6, 7, to where I'm really, really uncomfortable and I tear up, that I have to get checked again to make sure it doesn't inflame to a 10. And yeah, so basically that's what I do. But with all this pain, all the scarring, the more my pancreas works, the more scar tissue happens. So this recent appointment I had was to discuss if they should keep my pancreas in or take it out. I had no idea you could live without your pancreas, you know, but of course with that comes a lot of other stuff. Now, I don't really like to talk about it because I don't want people to feel sorry for me. I don't want people to be like, oh, poor girl, or wow, man, for her to be in pain, look at what she's doing. You know, I'm just a regular mom. I know for one of me, there is 100 other moms who are battling cancer and you know, MS and so much more, who are out there running and doing athletic stuff and volunteering their time and doing all that stuff that is so freaking amazing. So that's why when people say that, you know, you're pretty amazing for all the stuff you go through and, you know, your personality and all this stuff, and I'm like, it could be worse. It can always be worse. That's why I am the way I am. That's why I push. That's why I do things, because life can be so much bad. Life can be so much more worse than what it is. So that's why I'm not saying this. I don't want people to think, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for you, or I don't know. It feels weird when I hear it because I'm just a regular mom. You know, I'm doing what most moms do. I'm doing what most people would do in my situation. You know, I'm not doing anything special or, you know, whatever. But I wanted to say this story because a lot of people ask. I know a lot of people are curious, and some people feel like it's rude to ask. Some people tell me they don't want to be rude and they ask, and it's not rude at all. If you have any questions at all, just ask me. I am TMI flow. Too much information. That's what I'm known for. I say it like it is. I very open. I say too much sometimes, but I don't know how to be any other way. So anyway, that is the story of my chronic pancreatitis with fibrosis illness and why I'm always in and out of hospitals. So if you follow me, then you know I'm in there quite a bit. or at the emergency room dehydrated. It's just, there's a long list of stuff that your pancreas it's just crazy. It's crazy. But anyway, now you guys can understand a little more where I'm coming from, especially I'm on Snap and you see that I'm having like a bad off day. It's because I'm having a bad off day. But anyway, I really didn't want this to be long, but to me it felt like it was like 2 hours long. So I thank you so much. And if you stuck through the whole story and listened and not just skimmed through it, I thank you so much for bearing with this long story. I don't even know how I tell stories. I just get in a zone, and to me, I feel like sometimes I'm just so monotone. And I say this and I lose my audience, but anyway, I keep rambling on. See, I told you, if you follow me on Snap, you will see how just my mind works, or doesn't work. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I do story times, makeup, reviews, beauty. I am not a makeup artist at all. I'm just learning how to do makeup, so if you see some craziness, just bear with me. And anyway, if you would like to hear another story of my past, let me know down below. And if you have any more questions, feel free to ask. I will answer. And anyway, thank you and have a blessed day. Bye. I really hope I don't say and throughout this freaking story. So we got transferred to Washington. Major brain fart, you know? Because there's a person walking by. Can't talk. Can't talk. Goodness, I'm studying my words. So my doctor said, yeah, so I was suffering with a mental blockage right now. Okay. Oh, my phone's ringing. You know what sucks about ringtones, especially ones that you like? You don't want to answer the phone. What the heck? My only wasn't funny. Highlight? Hi. Where'd you go? Stop leaving on me. Forgot where I was at. I got sidetracked. So, did the camera pick that up? It's getting darker as we speak. I'm a rock. Lisa.